So now we're going to move on to real life NFL. Last week we previewed the AFC and NFC North. Today we'll be previewing the AFC and NFC East. So how do you want to do this, Joey?
Let's bounce back and forth.
Okay, you want to start with the AFC?
What did
or
we start?
NFC?
We started with the NFC last week, I think.
I really have no idea. I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast. So.
I don't. We'll start with the AFC.
All right.
Okay, I want to go first. So we'll do obviously four.
Okay.
So my first or fourth place team in the AFC East is the New York Jets.
Okay.
They're going to finish 8-9 at best, and their worst possible is 5-12. Now I think the Jets could surprise a lot of people. I think the Jets could potentially be better than the Dolphins. That's a little bit of a hot take right there. The Jets team has gotten a lot better on offense, especially. I mean, they added a lot of pieces on the offense. Mekhi Becton, however you say his last name, got hurt though, which actually matters quite a bit because he kind of was an anchor on the edge of the line.
The Jets drafted a receiver, right?
They drafted.
They had multiple first.
It's not Drake London. It's not Chris Olave. It's
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
And they also drafted Sauce Gardner.
They obviously Sauce.
Yeah.
Those are two big additions.
And Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Jets have gotten a lot better. Like they could be sneaky. They're not going to make the playoffs or anything, but they could be a sneaky middle of the pack team. So what is your four?
Okay, I also have the Jets. I think they're the consensus worst team in this division. If you just had to base it on the entire roster, I think his take. Okay, I'll start with the records. So best case scenario, I think for them is 7-10. I'm not a big Zach Wilson believer. Worst case scenario is 5-12. In terms of what he said about them potentially being better than the Dolphins, I do think that's possible. I think that solely is on Tua's shoulders because the Dolphins do have a great roster. The quarterback's the question mark for them. So I'll just go next to my third place team.
Okay.
Which I have New England, but I think them and the second place are kind of can switch. I have the Patriots, best case scenario 10-7, worst case scenario 7-10. Kind of foreshadowing my next thing. The reason why I have them at third is because I do think the Dolphins' overall roster is better. The only question mark, like I just mentioned, is the quarterback for the Dolphins.
Well, my third is the Dolphins. The best I said they could finish is 9-8, and the worst is 7-10. So the Dolphins are going to have another Dolphin year. It's my opinion. They always finish around 500, whether that be over or under. Like you said, Tua is very. He's prone to being not good. And as an Alabama fan, that hurts me. But like I said a million times, ever since he injured his hip coming into the NFL, or I guess at the end of his college career, he's just not been the same quarterback. So I just don't see him doing what he needs to do for the Dolphins. And especially with Tyreek. Tyreek's too fast for him. He's going to outrun his throws.
I think, but Tyreek is a big acquisition. I mean, you're talking the top 5 receiver in the NFL, and he's one of those guys that can make a difference on any given play. They also have Jalen Waddle. They have good pieces. I do think it's really just Tua. The team will go as far as he can take them. I think this is his last. This has got to be his prove it year. I mean, if he sucks this year, then I think they're done.
I don't think. There's nothing for them to do if he sucks because they're still going to be middle of the pack. They're not going to be able to draft a quarterback.
Right, but I'm saying they might look into. I mean, they were in the Deshaun Watson kind of.
And Tom Brady.
Well, that was before they got to him.
That wasn't before Tua.
Was that right when they drafted him?
No, it was the 2020.
Oh, you're talking
2020, 2019. I mean, they've already had him for a year-ish or 2 years at that point.
He was in the 2019 draft.
I know they'd had Tua when they were doing it.
Yeah, so they had to have just drafted him then.
Yeah, but I'm saying he'd already played a season.
He couldn't have.
I'm telling you he did.
That's not possible.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Okay, Tua's rookie year, was that Tom Brady's? Okay, it doesn't really matter. The point is the Dolphins have already shown that they're not attached. They're not in love with Tua.
You can move on to year 2 while I look this up.
Okay, I have Miami at my 2, obviously, and that means he has New England. That is 2. So I think worst case scenario for Miami is 7-10, just because I love their roster, And I think their backup is Teddy Bridgewater, if I'm not mistaken.
Who knows?
Just to be sure, I'll look it up really quick. I'm pretty sure it's Teddy Bridgewater.
For who?
Oh, no. Wait, Teddy Bridgewater is he in Cleveland? Where is he?
I don't know. No, Jacoby Brissett is in Cleveland. Okay, so I guess Tua wasn't there. So you know what? You can ignore what I said. But still, I'm going to move on to mine too while you do that.
Yes, Teddy Bridgewater is on the Dolphins. And so I think he's a pretty solid backup. And he can limit mistakes if Tua's that bad. I think he can kind of hold the team at like around 500.
Okay,
but yeah,
my
depends
two
on Tua, obviously.
is the New England Patriots. They're going to finish at best 10-7, and at worst 8-9. This division, their schedule is insanely hard. I was looking at it; it's crazy. Like obviously they have to play the North, the AFC North, so they're playing the Bengals. They're playing the Ravens. Obviously the Steelers aren't going to be as good, but their defense is still very good.
I mean, Cleveland's not horrible either.
Yeah.
Especially
and they have Cleveland's defense is good too as well. So I mean, they have a bunch of formidable opponents. And then after that one, I have the Buffalo Bills. Best they do is 14-3. Worst is 10-7. I think the Bills are the best team in the division by far, which obviously I think he'll agree with. But it's just that their schedule is so they have like a star-studded schedule for the teams they play, like that, because obviously they play all the first place teams.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be wild.
And they get Dallas too.
Yeah, the Packers.
Yeah. So I also have Buffalo 1, and like he said, the schedule is just so like. So I think worst case scenario they're 10-7. Best case scenario they're 15-2 because they are that good. Like if they have the capability of being able to win. Obviously, you have Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. They have some good guys on defense too. Trey White, obviously. I think they have the capability of going 15-2. I think they're number 1 in this division. Probably in the conversation for number 1 in the conference, maybe in the league by the end of the year. So definitely Buffalo's I think going to win the division.
And that is all we have for the AFC East. And on to the NFC East. Number 4, Washington Commanders. Best they do is 6-11. Worst they do is 3-14. The Commanders are really bad. That is all I have to say.
I have the Giants at 4. I think they're another one of those teams that kind of I could see them. Their range of outcomes is pretty big. I said worst case scenario 4-13. Best case scenario is 8-9. I don't really have much to say about the Giants.
I mean, my third team is the Giants, and I said they'll finish 7-10 at best or 4-13 at worst. But the Giants are another team that I feel like, okay, Daniel Jones sucks. But beside that, they obviously did draft very well because they had multiple picks in the very beginning. So obviously those guys could make a big impact. Kayvon Thibodeau and honestly, they drafted this hurts because I'm an Alabama fan. They drafted the Alabama tackle, Evan Neal. Okay. Yes, they drafted Evan Neal. So, I mean,
didn't they get a receiver too?
I think they did. I honestly don't know what receiver they drafted if they did. But regardless, the Giants, I feel like, could be straight. It won't matter if they drafted a receiver because Daniel Jones is very terrible. So, I mean,
I think they've improved their offensive line as well. Saquon, you still have Saquon Barkley, who seems to be healthy again.
Why don't you just move on to your third team, and I'll find out who the receiver they drafted.
Okay. Maybe they didn't draft one. I don't know why. I thought they did.
Just third team.
Okay. Third team, I have Washington Commanders. Worst case scenario, 6-11. Best case scenario, I have them 10-7. I really like their defensive front, and I think it's really another one of those things where it's up to the quarterback. I mean, they have a solid roster. It's just, can Carson Wentz be good?
They drafted a receiver in the second round, Wan'Dale Robinson, by Kentucky. I mean, that's still not like.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Thought they drafted
second round receiver could make an impact.
Yeah.
But not a first round receiver.
Yeah. So I had Washington third.
Yeah.
Worst case 6-11. Best case 10-7.
Okay, that's your second team.
Philadelphia Eagles, worst case scenario 9-8, best case scenario 11-6.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, my second team was the Philadelphia Eagles too, so I don't have much to argue about there. Best I said was 12-5, worst 9-8, the Eagles.
I almost did 12-5 as well.
I could see the Eagles winning the division.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys could cowboy, so, and who knows?
I feel like the East it's hard to talk about the NFC East. It's definitely the worst division in football still.
From top to bottom. Yeah, I agree.
And maybe the AFC South competes now especially with the Titans not being as scary.
I mean, AJ Brown to the Eagles is going to be big.
Actually, you know what? I may say no. The AFC South is the worst division. I'll take it back, NFC East. I apologize. Because the Cowboys and Eagles are both very good teams if they play to their potential. While the AFC South, if those teams play to their potential, they're still not like the Colts are good. They can be good.
Yeah.
But other than that, none of the other teams could be. I couldn't see any of them being above 500, like by far. Like they'd be like 9-8,
maybe. Yeah.
So
that leaves us with the number one
Dallas
team.
Cowboys. I have the Cowboys finishing at best 12-5 and at worst 10-7. As long as they don't do what they usually do, which is fall apart, they'll be good. They have an amazing team. So there's not much to say about the Cowboys. Don't get hurt, Dak. That would really help. Zeke, keep eating. Tony Pollard, fast fella, give me fantasy points. On to you, Zach.
I also have Dallas. I think I'm slightly higher on them. I have best case scenario 13-4, worst case scenario 11-6. So just a game ahead of what his predictions were. I mean, you got some playmakers all over the field for them, offense and defense. They do lose Amari Cooper, but you still have CeeDee Lamb. You still have Dak Prescott. And then on defense, you still have Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, whether you like him or not. He gets a lot of interceptions.
Trayvon Diggs is not very good.
I mean, it's just the play style. He's one of those guys that goes for the interceptions. I mean,
I don't like him.
He makes a big difference. I think he's good. I think he's a good player.
As an Alabama guy, I don't like him.